hopefully everyone's doing well and they're staying healthy here, even though Reed seems to have taken a trip to outer space at this time. Um, it's a bit odd, right? Kind of not being in with our lacrosse teams playing this year, and we were talking as coaches as to what's the best course here, what's the best thing that we can do in this strange time, and it felt right to kind of get together, stay as a team, and still talk about and try to become better lacrosse players. So our goal here with this next couple, maybe half hour here that we have with you guys is to study the game, become better students, really kind of focus in on what we can do from a visual standpoint and study other players and other programs and see how they're approaching this game. How are they attacking the net? How are they defending? How are they, kind of doing different things and trying ways to score goals here? So you've known that we've been running Virginia. It's kind of been our play since I've kind of stepped into the coaching role here with you guys. And what that really is a basic motion offense. And we're going to be watching Syracuse, who runs a bit more of a complex motion offense, and you'll see kind of the differences within it, and we'll break it down so you can kind of see it step by step here. But I've picked a couple clips from their 2020 game with Colgate, which was their first game of the season. They put up 19 goals. They were obviously doing something right. And you'll see that they go back to the same plays over and over again. And the reason they can do that is because they run it so efficiently, and they know the spacing, they know where everyone's going to be on the field and when they're going to be there, which is a really important trait about a good offense. So we can kind of learn from them and hopefully steal a little bit too of what they do and put it into our own game here. So we might be modifying our Virginia to go into a bit more of a complex role here. So if you bear with me, I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we'll kind of just talk about it from an X's and O's standpoint, and then we'll jump into the game and see it kind of come to life here. So let me see if I can get this going.
As he's getting ready, guys, the one thing I'd recommend is as you're watching, right, there's kind of two things you want to watch, right? One is, the offense, right? If you're a midfielder or, an attackman, and kind of look at your position, look how it all flows together, right? Look what, the guys are doing well. Look what, the things you guys think the guys maybe need to work on. And if you're a defender, right, learning offenses is a really good trick, right? If you know what the offense is trying to run, it means you're probably going to be in a better spot for, help defense, right? For approaching the right way. So you watch the offense, but, also try to see what the defense does, right? Understanding if it's if you're playing against a 3-1-2 or a 2-3-1, kind of knowing where you should be, what looks they're trying to get. Defense is so much being a student of the game on both sides of the field. That this would be a great opportunity to look at how, the number 5 team in the country, right, is playing against guys that are, in the 23rd ranked team. So they're all good. And it's a good opportunity to see both sides, both teams.
Excellent. All right. So can everyone kind of see this diagram that I have up on the screen?
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. So what I did here was just kind of draw up their set, and they very rarely will stay in this position. They move constantly. And the reason for that, is the reason why they call it a motion offense, is the players are constantly in motion. So you'll see that I color coded this. Well, the players that are in orange, these are the Syracuse midfielders, and the players that are in blue are going to be the Syracuse attackmen. Okay, so they kind of have the two triangles, just like we have in Virginia. They just have them set up a little bit differently than we do. And the ball can go in a lot of different ways here. This guy can dodge straight down the alley. He can dodge down here, which will initiate a movement from the crease. Or we'll see him dodge in a sweep motion where he kind of comes across the top here. And that will initiate a different type of motion. But what we're going to see first is this dodge down the alley. And as this player comes down, who does he get close to? He gets close to two different players here, this attackman and this attackman. And they're not going to stay where they are. So as this dodge comes down, this attackman here who's on the crease is going to pop out wide. Oops, hold on a second. He's not going to collapse into nothing. He's going to move over here to a shooting space, right? He kind of gets to this island, which is right around 9 yards out away from the goal. Meanwhile, this attackman is going to show right on the back pipe, hopefully looking for a nice pass if that's open. And this attackman is going to move just a little bit deeper, right to X. In case there's a shot, he can back it up. And he's an outlet here for the dodging midfielder who still has the ball. Let me move the ball with him here. Okay. There we go. All right, ball's still here. Meanwhile, while this is going on, this midfielder up top, he's going to dive straight down. He's going to dive straight down here to where the other attackman was. And this midfielder is going to just replace right back up top and be an outlet on the backside. So now we can see that they're in a little bit different formation, okay? But what this does is really confuse the defense because this man was right in the middle, and he was the guy who was the hot slide. So that hot slide probably slid here, and he's going to be wide open on the backside. So as this ball moves around, right, from this guy all the way to the backside, he's going to be wide open, okay? So let's see this in real life. Let's see this kind of work out because in the X's and O's here, it's kind of hard to picture it. So we're going to go into the film here. I'm going to go to minute 33. And we're going to watch this possession here together. And I'll make it big once I get it all set up. Okay, 33-05, perfect. So here we go. So we'll see Syracuse come down here. Let me see if I can minimize this. There we go.
Changing either high or low, so he doesn't give away where he's shooting.
So right now they're just getting into position. All right, so I'm going to pause it right here. So we can see this is their midfielder. We have a midfielder up top and another midfielder on the top right here. Their attackman, number 22, is right here and on the crease. That's Scanlon. And then we have their other attackman here. The other attackman is off the screen. You can't see him, but he's behind the cage. So I'm going to let this goal play all the way through, and then we're going to go back and break it down a little bit slower. Okay? So here's the first take of this.
Stephen Rapis went over the top and dunked it in.
All right. So who can tell me, why did this goal happen? Who scored this goal? Let me give you a couple options. Was this just one guy making a really athletic play, or was this the product of a lot of motion off the ball?
Could I?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it looks like he dodged down the alley and he drew a double team, which left the guy at X open, and he just kind of came around the crease and.
Absolutely. Kellen, you got it exactly right. So when we go back and break this down, I'm going to go down and watch this play in slow motion. So I'm going to turn the speed back to about half the speed so we can see it a bit more slowly here. So as this dodge is coming down the alley, right, we can see that this midfielder is going hard to the cage, and this player, right, who was initially hot, he's going to go, right? So we have 39 who's kind of slid to the ball. They have 2-on-1 here. 44 was covering this midfielder right here, but he's no longer in on the crease, right? He's moved away to the backside, okay? So watch 44, this defenseman here, because he's guarding this man who's moved away while he's ball watching, right? So he's still watching the ball carrier here. Right now, who's guarding number 22? Is anybody?
No one.
Absolutely no one, right? And all he did there was just move to that backside, just kind of drift away while that dodge was going. 44, who is he guarding right now?
Guy X.
He thinks he does, but who else thinks he does?
The guy coming from the right.
Yeah, this guy over here, right, who's initially marking this guy. So now we have two guys trying to respond to this one, and watch 44. Watch the defenseman here. He's going to realize a little bit late, oh, wait, where's my man? That's not my man. I got to find him, right? Now he's panicking. Who's my man? Where is 22? Here he is, wide open, right? But 39 had to go so far. There's nobody here, right? There's nobody here for this attackman to, kind of stop him from going around and just dunking that goal. So all of that, it looked like it was just a good one, man dodge from behind the cage, but really what that product was all this off-ball movement. So now we can watch it slow-mo again. We can see him move away on the backside, being replaced by 20. Now there's confusion in the defense, and that allows this guy to come right around and exploit it for a goal, okay? So all this comes from that backside motion. And as I move to this next clip here, we're going to see that same type of motion. So I'm going to skip ahead to 102. We're going to watch this possession here. So I'll put it back to normal speed. We'll kind of watch it live, and we'll do the same thing. We'll break it down and look at how this goal was scored.
So by the way, it wasn't like it was a bad shot. It was a good high bouncer. Porter had to make that save with his shoulder. Here's Lucas Quinn. He had a good first half, 2 goals and an assist. How about another?
All right. So when we go back and look at that, it's very similar to the first goal, right? How does the play start?
Get it to X.
All right, so we're getting it to X here. So let's start with the dodge. Again, I'm going to put this through slow-mo so we can see it a little bit easier. So right now on the dodge, okay, here we have number 22 who's on the inside, and this man is marking him, right? But what else is this guy? What's his responsibility, my defenseman?
Hot guy.
He's the hot guy, right? So he sees a good offensive midfielder get a step, and what does he have to do?
Slide.
Slide.
Right, he has to slide here. So right now we already have a number situation offensively. And here we can see 22. Where is he going?
Backside.
He's going to go to that backside to a nice shooting spot, okay? So as this guy continues his dodge, he sees that he's drawn the slide. He's done his job, right? He doesn't need to do anything else. By drawing that defender, he's made offensive opportunities for his teammates. So here he knows he's done a good job, protects his stick, moves it to X, and here we see this midfielder who was initially on ball recovering back inside. And I want you to focus on him because this offensive play is really designed to confuse this defender. And that's where we're going to find some offensive opportunity. His job right now is to get back to the middle of the field to find the man that this guy slid from. Who was which number? Which number was he looking for?
22.
22, right? Let's see if he finds him. So as this ball moves around, right? He's back to the middle of the field like he's coached to. But is this number 22?
No.
No, sir, right? That's one of the midfielders who's cut down. And here comes the other midfielder cutting inside. So 50 hasn't found 22. 39 hasn't found 22. Nobody's found him. He slipped wide open to the backside, and he only did that because of timing. And he found a nice shooting space here. You can see he's about 6-7 yards above GLE. And he has time and room to let his shot fly, right? So all that comes from just a little bit of motion, okay? A little bit of motion there. So let me skip ahead and show you one more that kind of looks very similar to what we just saw here.
Coach Darrell wants you to let him in.
Oh, thank you. One second, guys. I'm going to have to pause the share so I can go to the waiting room. There he is. Okay. Hey, Daryl. Welcome. Sorry about the wait there. I was in the middle of screen sharing. Okay. So,
Coach.
hey, how are you doing, Dylan?
Good.
Or Daryl. I'm sorry, Daryl.
Not Dylan. Yeah.
That's right. Sorry, Daryl. Wrong. Okay. So let me. One second here, guys. Seem to have lost it.
Any other observations, guys, from the first 2 clips?
A lot of movement off ball.
A lot of movement off ball. How does that compare to what we try to do?
Rowing.
Yeah, rowing, right? So, you can see with the, some of the best players in the country, right? The most important parts of the offense isn't the guy that's dodging downhill, right? A lot of it is the other 5-6 of the offense, right? Making sure they're moving the right spots and the right timing.
Excellent. All right. So let's get back into it. We're going to see one more clip where we're seeing a very similar dodge from the Syracuse offense. Okay. All right. So I should have it back up here.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So again, we see the dodge there, drew the slide. Immediately, what does this player do? He moves it behind because he knows he did his job, right? He doesn't need to go to the goal. He just needs to draw that slide. So here the ball moves around quickly to a guy who's wide open on the backside. But let's slow this down and look at it, because this isn't a goal, but it's a really good look. And let's understand why it's not a goal versus the other one. So when we go through this, see he moves the ball quickly, and this man, he's shooting, but from where?
Pretty far
Bad
out.
angle.
Well, it's a
And
bad
a bad
angle.
angle. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember Scanlon, number 22, who shot the same shot last time, he was about 2 yards higher, right? Giving himself more goal to look at, right? And was able to kind of stick that in the far corner. But here at this point, he's limited, right? What amount of the goal he can see and shoot at. So because he didn't get to the right spot here as a shooter, he's making that a lot harder for him. So when we row and when we kind of move our players around, we have to kind of think about, well, what's my end game here? What am I going to be doing with the ball when it comes to me? And if you're this guy who's sinking out for a shot and you know the whole play is designed for you to get a shot, you got to make sure your feet are in the right place, right? You got to make sure you're a little bit higher here, build that angle, make sure that you're moving towards the goal here to get a better shot on cage. Okay. I'm only going to show you one more clip, and it's a slightly different look, right? We've been seeing a lot of alley dodges, but that's not all that Syracuse can do out of this set. They have a couple times or a couple plays where they're using a sweep dodge, coming towards the middle of the field, and it's going to initiate a little bit different movement from that crease man. So let me skip ahead here to 114, where we'll see another goal. Let's get that a little bit more. That should be it. Okay. All right, so we'll see they kind of get set up here. They're in the same formation as before. They moved it up top, right back, and now here comes our dodge, right? Normally we're seeing this guy dodge right down the alley and draw a slide here. He's still going to draw a slide, but in a different spot. All right, so right there, we see the slide man come, and now instead of this guy moving to the backside, this guy who was in on the crease is going to fill that space that was just occupied by this dodging midfielder, okay? So the ball moves across, and they instantly look for him, right? They have that as a design play. And now when we slow this down, I'm going to go back and slow it down so you can see why this is so effective. It's all about how the recovering defender has to play this, okay? So here comes the on-ball defender, right? He's marking up here. Number 13 is guarding number 20. As soon as he slid to, he has to recover, right? So he's got to try to get back inside here like he's taught, but he's got to get outside to this guy. So as he's coming inside to recover, he finally realizes, hey, there's the ball. This guy's wide open. And he's got to make a really difficult play to get over there. Now, this guy kind of could have just let it fly right here where he has the space, but he knows this guy's out of position. He's going to lunge. So he hitches to get to a better shooting spot, right? He's earned himself more angle there with a nice little hitch, okay? So this defender is really one who's being toyed with. So when we go back, we can see it's all because of this motion, right? This guy on the crease moves out wide. He's no longer where he needs to be. This two slide doesn't get there. So this guy has to become the two slide, and he's out of position, okay? And all that comes from just a little bit of off-ball movement and then a good individual effort there with a hitch, okay? Coach Hart, anything else that you want to comment on here with the clips that we've seen?
Yeah, so we've got a defenseman, so a couple guys that have played defense, some guys that currently play now. What would you say if you were going to coach up Colgate's defense on this? Right we saw some clips where these guys got open, right? But Kellen and a couple others, right? Like, what would you guys say? What do you think they could do better?
I would say, like, watch your man even when he's off ball. Like, they might be like ball watching and not seeing that their guy's popping out.
Yeah, right. So kind of have like ball you man triangle, right? Making sure you're able to see where the ball is and where your guy's going, right? That's absolutely a good one. What else? And Reed, if you want to comment too as a defender, that's fine. But again, any other thoughts, right? That's a good one by Kellen to start off.
If you get beat, to like immediately go back instead of waiting a couple seconds.
Okay, so like don't make one mistake turn into two by not moving your feet. Definitely. What's probably the easiest way this defense could figure out how to at least recover the right way?
Communication.
Nice. Communicate. Right? If you get beat and one of your teammates say, hey, get in here, right? Okay, 22 is popping off, right? Having your teammates communicate with you what's going on is just as important as making sure you're sliding to the right spot and right kind of getting your stick in lanes. Right? Communicating is so important. And I think if you watch this game as it goes through, at least the clips I've seen, it seems like, Syracuse throws that topside dodge because they know Colgate's communicated now that downhill one. Right? So it's kind of a chess match, offense versus defense. But you're right, communicating, right, sticks up. Those are all really important things that I think even at the highest levels, guys can always continue to get better at.
Yeah, and some other things offensively that I see in there is just a Syracuse team that stays spread, right? And that's a concept that we've talked about a lot, is making sure that we get our spacing and we don't kind of clump together. Because when we do that, it's really easy to defend. The reason why these defenders aren't really getting to the spots they need to get to is because these Syracuse attackmen are so far apart, it's not easy to get from one to another. That recovery slide is 10, 15 yards sometimes. And it's just really the ball is going to move faster than the man every time. So offensively, we can understand that staying spread and getting into those positions of where we need to be in our formation is really going to help us find better opportunities instead of clumping us together. So guys, the last thing that I really wanted to talk to you guys about is kind of moving forward. We're going to have meetings like this where we can kind of really focus in on certain aspects of the game. Today obviously was an offensive day. When I see you guys next, we'll focus a little bit more on some defensive stuff and show you some good defensive packages and kind of one-on-one kind of footwork, stick work, things like that. But what I really want us to focus on is, kind of what Cobb has in his hand right now, is how we are going about our game in this type of situation. We obviously can't hold practice in the traditional sense, but you guys have the ability to focus on what you need to focus on. We gave you guys those end of the year evaluations where we gave you some feedback on something we saw, right, where we say, hey, this is what you're really strong at, and maybe this is an area that we need to improve on. And you guys know your game, and you guys might know what it is that you need to improve on. So Coach Hart and I were thinking about some different resources that are available to you to focus on your skills individually. And I'm going to put out an email that has links to all the things that we're about to talk about, but just so you guys can kind of work on your individual games. I found a really cool, and this is really for Cam. I don't see Sean on right now, goalie Cam, so as opposed to attack Cam. Cameron, I'll just kind of ask you this. Do you know who Scott Rogers is? Okay, so Scott Rogers is ex Notre Dame goalkeeper, just a massive hulking man who is dedicated and passionate about the game of lacrosse. He currently plays in the PLL, and so he's a professional goalkeeper.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and he just drills himself, and he videotapes the things that he does. He tries to get himself a lot of mental, physical reps without actually getting beaten up by the ball itself. And he put together a couple interesting videos with little drills for you to kind of work on not only your hand speed, but your footwork as well. So I'm going to post a link to that for our goalkeepers to kind of look at. And Coach Hart, you were saying you found something for our offensive players, especially for shooting?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys follow Division III lacrosse at all, you know that Salisbury is incredibly talented. They put up tons of goals. They win a bunch of games. And it all comes down to kind of their shooting routine. And so what's awesome is a handful of years ago, the head coach put down, I think, 20 different drills. It's called Berkman's Bank. And they're all different drills that he's run for the last 20-something years at Salisbury. And what's awesome is that it breaks down into, little chunks, the whole sets that they run, right? So there, Virginia's got 15 different looks off of it, and he's got different drills for each little part of the offense. So I believe Coach Belson's going to send out one of the clips called the C-cut drill, which really works on kind of that moving that attackman through, right, on Virginia, and then kind of looking back for the ball while he's cutting, right, maybe getting an easy look off of kind of that crease C-cut.
Absolutely. And it's a drill that's mostly, kind of designed for you and a partner to go through. So if you have a brother, sister, mother, father, someone who can kind of feed you on that, it's going to go a lot more smoothly. But you'll see the drill when I send out the link and kind of more what we're talking about there. And then lastly, I found a link to some footwork from a Marist defender who put together a lot of different interesting footwork drills for defensemen, kind of with the pole, working on ground balls, moving the feet, working inside of just kind of a small 5x5 area, how we can improve our footwork and kind of get the ball up off the ground a little bit quicker and improve our sticks as well. So I'm looking at you, Kellen, Charlie, Dante, right? Some drills more for, geared towards you. And what I'd really like is over the next week before we have our next meeting, have you guys try some of these drills out, and more importantly, tape yourself, video yourselves doing these drills, and we can kind of see who puts together the most interesting lacrosse video here, kind of doing the cool stuff, whether it be you shooting and pinging a corner, or maybe you're kind of challenging yourself defensively, who can do a box footwork drill the fastest, and you can kind of time it too. That'd be neat. But I'd really like to get you guys to film yourselves playing lacrosse, send them my way, and then I can put them together and we can kind of look at what we've been up to and how we're getting better as a team, even though we're not, in the same space as a team. Does that sound cool? Awesome. I'm gonna video myself too. I'm going over one of my buddy, he has a son who plays at Salesianum, and I'm going to go over there and kind of shoot around with him. So I'll video a little bit of that and show you what Coach Belson's up to, see if we can still bring the heat. Hopefully, I haven't quite lost it yet. But
Coach, what's his name? I might know him because.
Let's see. Caleb is his name. He's
what's his last name?
Russell. Yeah, he's a awesome little lefty attackman there. He's a good kid too. So I'm gonna go hang out with him tomorrow and show him a thing or two of how to shoot. Awesome, Coach Hart. Anything you want to end with?
Yeah, so I'm a big quote guy, right? Coach Belson is English teacher. I'm a history teacher, so I always like quotes. So I want to leave you guys one with Drew Brees, one of my favorite quarterbacks. Really glad he's staying around for an extra year with the Saints. But one of his best quotes is just, when you wake up, think about winning the day. Don't worry about a week or a month from now. Just think about it one day at a time, right? We're in a crazy situation here in the real world, and we can't think about winning games right now, and who knows when. So when you wake up, just think about winning the day, right? Making sure you're getting those drills in, making sure you're doing school like you're supposed to, and just take it one day at a time, right? If you win every day from now until whenever, it builds good habits, and it helps, not only you, but your teammates and everybody else involved. So that's what I'll leave you with, right? Drew Brees. It's a good guy.
Awesome. Any lasting thoughts, questions, comments from you guys? Anything you want to ask or say? All good? Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for coming out, and we'll get back together pretty soon, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. See you.
You got it.
Thank you, Coach.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
See you guys. Oh, we help her on here too.
Yeah, he came in a little bit later, but he got on.
Nice.
Yeah. Half hour goes by quickly.
Yeah. That's why our classes are an hour for Haverford.